And what is it that makes the dissolve so unpredictable and dangerous?
They know, Michael. You probably think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, they know. They talk about events no one else knows about. They sense things. They bring back information from the places they go. And they talk to the dead there, Michael. They communicate with the dead. They know, Michael. That's all.
They're just sick people, Uma.
No! They're more than just ordinary sick people. You wouldn't talk like that if you had been living with them, and their messages and their prophecies, all these months.
Wait a minute. Did you just say the dissolved make prophecies?
Let me tell you a story. When I first came to the center, I became friendly with a patient, a 13-year-old girl. All the time I was taking care of her, she never stopped chatting. She told me all about the underground highways. She said she went there every day.
Underground highways?
She said they all went there when they lost consciousness. Obviously, I felt great pity for the girl, but in time I also came to feel tremendous fear. I was afraid of that poor, hopeless child. Her visions, her dreams, her messages terrified me. And then one night she sat down next to another patient, an older woman who looked surprisingly healthy. According to our calculations, this woman still had a few months to live. The woman had just lost consciousness. "Leave me alone with her," the girl said to me. "It won't be long now." And she took the woman's hand. And just seconds later, the woman started to dissolve, shrieking and writhing in pain, until there was nothing left of her but a puddle of brown, viscous liquid. The girl turned to me and said, "I knew she was leaving us, and I didn't want her to go alone. That would have been very sad, wouldn't it, Uma?" The girl's face was still dripping with the remains of the patient. She knew what was going to happen, Michael. She saw it. From then on, my fear became uncontrollable. I felt defenseless next to her.
I understand.
Finally, my panic was so great that I refused to go anywhere near her. And I even, God forgive me, I felt secretly relieved when she herself finally dissolved. They know, Michael, and that's why they're so dangerous to the people in power now.
The cleanup brigades. I've seen how they behave.
They're savages. I despise them. They're like predatory animals, heartless and unscrupulous. The rest of the staff refuses to share the facilities with them, so their lockers are out in the hallway. That's where they keep everything they need for their hunting expeditions. The GPSs, the disease detection tests, their ID badges. Each unit is made up of 2 soldiers, 1 doctor and 1 nurse. I mean, doctors and nurses collaborating with those bloodthirsty animals, but then they say, "What do you want? It's our job, and somebody's got to do it."
Yes, that phrase sounds familiar. It's bone-chilling. Police and criminals using exactly the same words to justify their actions. You gotta do what you gotta do. That seems to be the slogan of the executioners of this new world.
Talk to my father, Michael. Tell him that I'm all right, that he shouldn't worry, that we'll be seeing each other soon, very soon.
Ecco, allora abbiamo acquisito altre informazioni.
A very old piece of furniture, completely worm-eaten. Its decrepitude stands out even in this locker room. The future is in our hands. Collaborate, rebuild, report. From the text, I say this poster must have been part of a government campaign launched after the Great Wave.
Allora, abbiamo trovato
Oral morphine. A glass vial with a dozen red pills. I didn't know morphine also came in this form. I thought I'd need to look for a liquid solution in a syringe. That's a relief.
Quindi 2 informazioni, abbiamo la morfina da dare alla tipa e parlare col padre della dottoressa. L'altro penso che non c'è da fare.
I'm not going to leave this place without finding one of these memos about the dissolve that Uma mentioned. If it's true that the army has stopped looking for a cure, I'll need some proof to take to Rod. A tiny lock is preventing me from opening the door. and despite its size, it seems to be... It looks like this closet is used frequently. The bolt cutters are very worn. I'm not going to waste energy using them without good reason. Let's see. Inside, I only see dust and old papers, and a tiny key. Let's see. A tiny lock is preventing me from opening the door, and just... Let's see if it's the key to this closet. Bingo! I see a yellow bucket in here with medical waste, with a handful of what seem to be tests for detecting the dissolved. A mysterious crate with several objects inside. I'm not going to take any. A small red LED is blinking on all of them, an unmistakable sign that they've been used. A rather large plywood crate. It used to hold some of the cleanup brigade's work tools. Even if I could, I wouldn't cut this out.
Allora, cassa di legno per tenere oggetti.
According to one of the cleanup brigade's forums, this is the device they use to navigate during their raids. Sort of like an electronic map. It looks like some satellites are actually still working after the Great Wave. Something I could easily confirm if this contraption had batteries in it.
Ok. Quindi anche qui trovare le batterie per il GPS. Chi potrà trovarmi il cacciatore? Poi vediamo.
Authorized Vehicle Pass. It's the ID that allows the cleanup brigades to get in and out of the hospital compound in their macabre ambulances. From what I can tell, the Army can pump you full of lead if you try to come through the gate without one of these. It's an internal Army memo for the hospital's medical staff. The report talks about the failure to develop a cure for the dissolved, and what's even worse, the decision to finally abandon the search for one.
Ok, quindi abbiamo... Andiamo prima dal padre a dirgli che la figlia sta bene.
The street is even more desolate and silent than it was before. I guess while I was in the subterranean hospital for the dissolved, the soldiers called the curfew. This home already has an owner. Let's leave him in. What are you doing out here, ma'am? What's the matter?
It's my brother. He's disappeared. We don't know where he is.
What do you mean he's disappeared?
Well, we haven't seen him since he spoke to you, since he ran out of the church. We've been searching for him for hours and can't find him anywhere.
And you don't have any idea where he might have gone?
No, he simply ran out of the door, completely out of control. I've never seen him so upset, and we haven't heard anything from him since. I just know that something terrible has happened to him. My brother is very sick and he shouldn't be out there alone and unprotected. I fear the worst.
Calm down. There's no reason to think that anything has happened to him.
I have a feeling that something awful has happened. I'm sure of it. Besides, the soldiers have already called the curfew. If they find him on the street alone and lost, in his condition, my brother is a very beloved and respected person. But those beasts don't care who he is.
I understand.
We have to get off the street. Please, if you see my brother, tell him to come home. Tell him we're waiting for him.
Of course. I'll do that.
The camp is closed, Rat. Get away from the gate.
But I have to come in. It's urgent. What happened?
There's no understanding you worms. Always wanting to get out of here. Once you're outside, you're dying to get back in. One of our soldiers was killed, and the camp will remain closed until the matter is cleared up. So take a hike.
There was an attack?
Yes. Someone hit one of the sentries in the watchtowers with a rock and made him fall out. He was killed instantly. Luckily, it seems there was a witness who saw the perpetrators launch the projectile, and they have been detained. But we never trust the testimony of a rat, so we're waiting for the criminals to confess, or for the murder weapon to turn up.
I don't think it's gonna take very long to get the truth out of these kids. Or to find the weapon they used to commit the crime.
Good God. What have I done? I knew I shouldn't have gotten them mixed up in this. But they're just a couple of scared kids. Don't you see that? What are you planning on doing with them?
Killing an official is punishable by death, and martial law is quite clear in this respect. They acted as adults, and they will pay for their actions as adults. As soon as they confess, or we find the weapon they used to commit the crime, we'll take care of matters. Do you have a problem with the law being enforced?
You're nothing but a gang of warped psychopathic pigs.
One more word and I'll blow your head off right now, bastard. I couldn't care less what privileges that bracelet might give you. Get out of my sight.
Those pigs are gonna kill the boys, and it'll be my fault. I'll be responsible for their deaths. I can't let that happen. I have to do something, and fast. But what?
Ridiamo l'arma.
Rifles against slingshots? That would be a real tight contest. Use this here? How? Shoot over there, even if I had a projectile handy. I consider myself rather clumsy. I just end up getting my fingers caught in the elastic. The truth is, I don't need it. I have my own way, but I'm sure I'll be able to find... This pig in uniform and his sidekicks are getting ready to kill the children in cold blood. Damn it. I have to do something. Damn it. If I don't prevent it, those bastards in uniform are going to execute the boys. For God's sake, I have to think of some way to save them, and I have to do it now. You can see bits of clothing caught on some stretches of wire, and even strands of hair. I don't think I'd gain... Shoot over there, even if I had a projectile handy. Rifles against slingshots?
Cosa facciamo? O si distraggono.
A few yards away, I can... that accumulate... Impossible. It's beyond my reach. The great... I'm afraid I can't do...
Dios.
I'm not going to be able to get through the barrier. The army will keep the camp entrance closed until they find whoever killed the watchtower sentry. Wait a minute. There's something floating in the pit, but I I can't see what it is from up here. Before I go down, I'll leave the heavy stuff here, in case the rope doesn't support my weight. Time is running out for those poor kids, and if I don't stop it, I'll have their death on my conscience. Come on, Michael. You have to do something. You have to do something. Jesus. It's the corpse of Reverend Blake. His neck is broken. In his delirium, he must not have seen the rope I left tied around the tree. It must have fallen from the top when he was trying to get down here. But what the hell was he looking for here? Let's see what's in here. He still has the same grimace of terror as when he ran out of the church. What made him go mad? I don't care anymore. I'm afraid he took the answer with him to the grave. A damp, moldy business card. It's almost illegible, but it looks like it's from a place called Beechwood Oracle. Most of the text is too worn off to read. All you can make out of it is an address. 24 Mammoth's Wood Street. How long will those animals in uniform wait before shooting those boys? Their time is running. Jesus, Mike. This business card is my only clue about that place called Beechwood Oracle, so I have no intention of letting go of it.